Hello and welcome to the Will or Trust What's Your Plan podcast. I'm Terence Quinn, an estate planning attorney dedicated to helping families like yours secure their futures and protect their assets. Welcome to episode 3 of Will or Trust What's Your Plan. I love this work. I love helping people understand how they can approach estate planning, how they can do it correctly, and how they can get it done for themselves and for their families. Real quick, remember the 2 major questions. I want to keep sending those up to you. Number 1, what happens to your assets or your children if you pass? Number 2, if you suddenly could not make decisions for yourself, who would make decisions for you and what would they decide? Those are major questions. I think 2 of the 4 most important ones that you will ever deal with in your lifetime. My job is to share this information with you so then you can seek out an attorney who can help you answer those questions according to your wishes. Wishes, that's an important word to leave off with right there, because episode 3, this one here, is all about your goals. Another word for wishes, what you want to have happen. I'm gonna read the first sentence of the first 2 sentences of my book, Will or Trust, chapter 3. Estate planning is not a one-size-fits-all process. It's a deeply personal journey that requires understanding your unique circumstances and goals. I don't have cookie-cutter plans in my office, and no good estate planning attorney will. We do start with a base set of templates for sure. However, that's just to get started. From there, we have to hear what you're interested in. So in every one of my meetings, I first sit down, I ask you, what are we trying to accomplish? And I let you talk so I can start hearing what's going on in your unique situation. I can start getting an understanding of what's important to you, and I can get an understanding of your goals, how you want to see things carried out around those 2 questions. If you're gone, what happens to your assets and children? If you can't make decisions for yourself, who makes decisions for you and what would they decide? So I got to understand your unique situation, and then I also have to understand your goals so that we can make sure your plan is tailored towards your goals. The first thing that we have to do, as I said, is identify those goals. And so one of the things you want to do as you're preparing to meet with your estate planning attorney is think about what's important to you. When you think about your assets, when you think about your children, when you think about your own health care and long-term care, when you think about how you want assets managed while you're alive, what are your answers? Don't worry about how legal you sound in those answers. Your estate planning attorney should be able to grab that info that you're sharing, share it as raw as you can, grab that information and translate that into a plan that works for you. So we got to consider your goals and your wishes first. It's not our job to tell you what your plan should look like. It's our job to hear what you want and then build a plan that satisfies that, and then make sure you understand that plan once we've built it. One of the things that's very important to people is charitable giving, and that's one of the wishes that they have. They want to make sure, for example, they have a fraternity or sorority they want to leave something to, or a medical resource organization that supports people. They want to make sure that's funded, or their church or their charities. I do a lot of work in churches. I do workshops typically in churches around the country sharing this information, and a lot of people want to leave assets to their church or their charity. And so what happens is, as I'm meeting with people, the very last question I ask them in every meeting is, are there any churches or charities that you want to receive anything? And most of the time, more than 50% of the time, they say, yeah, I do want to leave something to my sorority, or I do want to leave something to my church. And so we can put that in place through estate planning. Estate planning is the process through which you do that. I just had a client the other day, Thursday, say to me that he wanted to make sure he left assets to a local hospital, he wanted to leave assets to a local church, and he wanted to leave assets as an endowment to another organization. And so through his estate planning, we were able to build that. So is that one of your wishes? Is that one of the goals that you have? You want to leave some portion to somebody? Now I hear some of you saying, no, I don't want to leave anything. I'm giving to them now. I want to leave everything to my children. And that's fine. It's your wishes, not mine. And so whatever you want to do is what we build, because remember, your goals are what matters. The reason why you see me is because I'm able to make sure that those goals can occur in the right way, because we write it in the right kind of way. I bring the laws. I know what the courts are going to allow. And I hear what you want, and I put them into a pot mixed with the way the court allows it to happen. And out of that comes the plan that satisfies what you're trying to do. Why is professional guidance critical in defining your estate planning goals? Well, we just talked about that. The reason is because as an experienced attorney, I know how to get that done. Now, it's not just the training. As I get to train attorneys around the country, even the world at this point, on how to do estate planning correctly. And a lot of times they think because they understand estate planning from a legal perspective so well that they should go on to be super successful. In my state, Michigan, there's a 3-year course that's put together that teaches you how to do estate planning, all the laws and how it works and all of that. And I finished that and got it done very well. But I still had to go through the process of having an attorney hold my hand to walk me through how this hits on the ground and then experience a bunch of situations to see how the plans work. The guy who trained me, he said, Terence, you're going to start doing plans for people who there's no crisis. They just want to make sure they have a good plan in place. They want to take care of business. He said, but one day your practice is going to shift and you're going to start doing work for people where a crisis has hit their home. And you're going to start seeing the value of the paper that you were putting in place earlier on. That happened several years ago. So I've seen many situations, most situations, I think, at this point. And so having a professional with you who can guide you through this process with all of that experience, who can show you how to get this done legally with the training that they've gotten, is critical and crucial. Think about it this way as we bring this episode to a close. If you needed brain surgery, you probably could go online, and this is for the do-it-yourselfers. You probably could go online and look up a video. I've actually Googled brain surgery. I've gone to YouTube and searched for that, and I found a couple videos that were like 4 or 5 minutes, teach you how to do brain surgery in 4 or 5 minutes. And I found a couple of videos that were like a minute. So if you need to get it done quickly, it's a minute video, walks you through how to do brain surgery. How important would it be to you to do it yourself or to have a medical professional do it? And not just a medical professional, but somebody trained very well with experience in brain surgery. Of course, you would look for the best brain surgeon you could find. Here's something I'll throw out at you, and I fully believe this. Estate planning is more important than brain surgery. If you gave me time, I'd prove it to you. And so with that, it's not just important, but it's critical and crucial that you use an attorney, and not just an attorney, but somebody who's trained very specifically in estate planning and has experience in estate planning to do your plan. Now, for all the younger, newer attorneys or the general practitioners who are watching this and you're mad with me, I'm sorry, but I'm also not sorry, because you know it's true too. Estate planning is critical for people to do, period, and it's critical for people to make sure they use a true specialist to get it done for you. As you're listening, you might be wondering, what's the next step for me? If you're ready to start securing your family's future, head over to tquinn25.com and book a free consultation with me. Together, we'll create a plan tailored to your specific needs. But don't wait, your future deserves it. That's it for this episode of Will or Trust, What's Your Plan? I hope you found today's discussion valuable and are feeling more confident about your estate planning journey. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more strategies to protect your legacy and your loved ones. Until next time, take care of what matters most.